This is James Lupton, delighted to be joined with legendary Kenny Adams. Kenny, how are you?
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. How are you?
I,
We'll
can
go
you
to,
hear me?
I can hear you, Kenny. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Fantastic. I'm going to take you through a little journey through your career. So we're going to start off, as mentioned, we're round eight boxing. So 8 rounds of topics. Round one, I want to discuss your amateur career. Over 200 amateur fights, Kenny. And
Uh-huh.
you boxed for the love of the sport. Just take me through your highlights of your amateur career.
Okay. Basically, I was in from Missouri, fought in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, uh, won the Golden Gloves in Sikeston, Missouri. From there, I went into the military, and then from the military, I won the All Army and the All Service Championships in Florida AAUs and a few amateur tournaments during that time frame. Fort Campbell, Kentucky, with the 101st Airborne Division. That's who I boxed for during my time in service.
Now, you could have turned professional. I mentioned you had over 200 amateur fights. You was offered a professional contract, but you declined that. And you apparently was quoted to say you boxed for the love of sport, not for money. Talk to me about that decision. Was it an easy decision for you to turn that down?
No, it wasn't because I really enjoyed boxing quite a bit, and to be honest with you, I guess it's another thing. Just I just felt like I didn't want to do it.
But for you to go into coaching instead, was that a natural move for you?
Yes, it was. Boxing training was a natural move for me for to be a coach. Yeah, uh, everything seemed to fall into place from my coaching standpoint. Uh, I worked very well with most of the guys that I dealt with, and then it worked out well, very very much so. Like I said, I was very blessed to be an Olympic coach. Also be with quite a few people, Pat Nappy, Happy Golf, a lot of other guys who were upcoming trainers or were great trainers, and I learned a lot from them.
Well, let's go straight into our round two, and that's the 1984 Olympic team. Team USA, 9 gold medals, 1 silver, 1 bronze. The likes of Holyfield, Meldrick Taylor, Pernell Whitaker, Mark Breeden, amongst others. Talk to me through that time.
Excellent fighters, excellent fighters. Each one of those guys were listeners. They listened well. They Holyfield and all of them paid attention to everything real good. And of course, Pat Nappy, being the expelled master he was, it all worked out very very well. And we had another guy named Carlton Brooks who also worked with us on the side. It was a great feeling. Great feeling.
Did those fighters make your job as a coach easy?
Yes, it's very making very very easy because they pay attention and they don't think they know everything and they listen, and that's very important.
Could you see from those early days in the Olympics that they would do so well in the professional ranks?
I thought so because once again, what you learn as a good amateur will carry over to you being a good professional, and so I think all in all, it all fell into place. It all fell into place, uh, and like I said, being an expert at it, that's what it's all about. You got to get to step up to the plate, and the guys did that.
I want to fast forward to the next Olympics, and another big name is Roy Jones Jr. And it's potentially one of, if not the biggest Olympic scandal, really, in the Olympic final in Seoul, where he won the silver medal, but should have been the gold. Give me your thoughts on that being there.
Yes, that was. I think it was a dislike for him that people because he was such a ruling guy, and I think most of the people they just disliked him, and they wanted to find any way they could to take him down, and that's exactly what happened. He got taken down. Unfortunately, it should have never happened. Well, Roy definitely won the gold medal.
Just how talented was Roy, especially at that early age? People said, when he won the Golden Gloves, you could.
Very, very talented. Very, very talented. He had great skills. Of course, his father was a great teacher too, so that made a big, big difference. When you got a father, somebody behind you, push you 1,000%, that all works out well, without a doubt.
We've already mentioned some big names and big characters as amateurs. So moving on to our round three, and that is characters and personalities with guys you've worked with. Valero, Michael Bent, Corrales, Michael Nunn, Johnny Tapia. All of these are big personalities and big characters. For you as a coach to almost try and tame them in some way, how easy or hard was that for you with these guys? Or did you get that respect from all of the guys?
What I really learned from boxing, I learned from a guy named Pat Nappy and actually a guy named Pappy Gall, who both were disciplinarians. And these are guys that made people walk the talk. In other words, they made them step up to the plate. And without a doubt, that made all the big difference in the world. And but once again, I was a disciplinarian also. And I learned that from my background in the military, being a drill instructor. All those things made me also lean and tough and step up to the plate. That's it. It all worked out well.
Every fighter has their own different style of fighting in the ring. For you as a coach, did you have different styles of coaching per different fighter?
Yes, I did. I was a somewhat of a very slick, fly type of individual. Great moves. I had a lot of moves. I had quick hands and a lot of slickness about me. Block, parry, catch, and do those type of things. And those are things that you take to the next level for your fighters. And as long as they make that type of move, it all works out well. Block, parry, catch, slip, slide, all those different things that you do. Pivot off the hook, step around, do all the different turns. Those things make a big difference.
I want to ask you, in terms of coaching, how do you deal with your fighters' vices and demons? For example, Johnny Tapia, he had a wild life away from the ring with drinking, drugs, and addictions. How do you deal with taming that and disciplining that?
Well, I always had a saying. My saying was, "It's my way or the highway." And if you don't listen to me, you gone. Just that simple. And plus, I was a drill instructor in the military, so I had a lot of disciplinarian things about me that I would take to the next level with the fighters also. So that made a big difference. And they're going to listen or not, or either you're going to take a walk.
Well, that moves me nice on to my next topic in round four, and that is somebody who didn't like the way that you would have trained them, and that was Floyd Mayweather. He didn't like your approach.
No, because Floyd wanted to run his own show, and I told Floyd the same thing. I said, Floyd, it's my way or the highway. I'm out of here. We can't listen to what I do, what I want, I'm gone. So that's the way it was, and it worked out well for him because his father had the style that he was looking for too. So it all worked out well for him. So he didn't miss nothing with me anyway. So it all worked out well.
Although it worked for Floyd, it probably wouldn't work for a lot of other fighters. What did you make of his attitude to, go his separate ways with yourself and not train with you?
I'm sorry. I'm not able to hear you because of bags in the background. I can't hear.
That's
couldn't
okay.
hear you.
That's okay. I'll repeat it. With Floyd, I mentioned that it worked out well for Floyd because of how talented he was and with his father by his side, but it wouldn't work out as well for other fighters to decide they want to do it all their own way. What did you make of that attitude from fighters who did decide to say, no, I'm not listening to you. I want to do it my way as a fighter?
Well, he just had to take a step. Hey, uh, and I always tell them is my way or the highway, and that's the way I train people. Uh, and not so much because I think that I'm supposed to be the man, but if I'm going to be your trainer, I'm going to be your trainer. I'm not going to be your second in command. I'm going to be the first in command. So it's going to be that way or the highway. That's the way I roll.
These days in boxing, a lot of fighters have a big entourage, a lot of yes men around them, telling them what they want to hear. For yourself, it sounds like it was a complete opposite. Like you say, your way or the highway. How important do you feel your approach is in boxing?
Well, it may not play as well with other people as well as it's supposed to. There is a possibility that it doesn't. But hey, I know my business in this sport. I've shown that over the time. And being that I lead a guy in the proper procedure, if I can do that, then once again, the guy's going to follow your lead. He's going to follow your lead. And I have styling. My style is such that I have block, parry, catch, flip, slide, stop, rock and roll, and do all these different things. Movement, slip, slide, moving left, moving right. And I have, like what they once again, it's my way or the highway. And it's a working load. And I've worked that with most fighters, and it hasn't been a problem with them. And once again, uh, you got some fighters that have great balance and talent. They're very talented. So you don't have to do that much with them. All you simply do is kind of have a disciplined role with them. Fighters have to be disciplined. If they're not going to make it.
Moving on to the next topic, round five, and that is crossover boxing. We see a lot of MMA fighters trying out boxing these days with Francis Ngannou currently. You trained a couple of MMA guys, most notably Frank Mir. I'm assuming just in their stand-up game. What did you make of that, training somebody for a different discipline?
Say again, please. I'm sorry. I got background noise. I'm not able to hear you.
That's okay. I was just mentioning you helped train Frank Mir and a couple of guys in MMA. How
Yeah.
how easy or hard was it to train somebody with different discipline?
Well, actually speaking, the MMA guys were probably more disciplined than a lot of the boxers were. They listened very well to what you have to say to them and how you want to put it. And I found MMA guys were easy to work with, to be honest with you, because once again, they take it to the next level because they're a different type breeds anyway. They're a little different breed than the normal boxer is. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I found to be no problem with them whatsoever because they like to have disciplinary type attitude with them, and they like that. So it worked out well.
Do you like to see the crossover with the MMA guys coming to boxing now, like Francis Ngannou?
Say again. I'm sorry.
Do you like to see the crossover in boxing with the MMA guys coming to boxing, like Francis Ngannou currently?
Yeah. That it's awful good because they're strong, heavy punchers, and they're hard workers, and they move it to the next level. Yes, definitely the move. Good move.
Round six. Tell me about your favourite memories through your career. What stands out for you as a personal highlight?
Uh, I think for me, being a member of the '84 and the '88 Olympic team was one of my greatest pride and lifetime joys in boxing, and also moving what the military allowed me to be, all I could be, which was very good the All Army program allowed me to move to the next level and also give me the opportunity to do whatever I like to do to make it better for the fighters. And so, all in all, I was given a free hand and I was able to make a move to help me quite a bit. And I always like to say, it's my way or the highway. And there's nothing wrong with that, because the guy's gonna have to listen to somebody. And in order to do that, you got to do what you're instructed to do. And so if you do that and you move to the next level, you got to do certain runs you have to do. You have to work with strength and conditioning, which was one of my greatest plaudits that I had. That I learned from the Germans. I learned from Sandhofen, Germany, was where I learned strength and conditioning. And that made a difference in everything I did in boxing because it made the guys learn for strength and conditioning, explosion and exploding for the next level. It really was great. And all of these things make you fall into place. But that had to be the thing that made my day a better day. Moving to the next level. Definitely, without a doubt.
A lot of people say you are one of the pioneers for bringing strength and conditioning training into the sport of boxing. Are you? Does it
It
feel?
was a German. I learned from the German Olympic committee team up in Sandhofen, Germany. Was when I first ever learned about strength and conditioning, and they were the first people to bring it into boxing, and they did so. Sandhofen, Germany, is where that's all became. That was one of my. That's what has to be one of my best memories, is with strength and conditioning because it made it move to the next level. There, it was the move, man. It was, because you learn strength, and you learn conditioning, and you learn endurance and stamina. All of those things are learned in boxing, and it really was the next level for me. It definitely was.
With the highs, there always comes the lows. What are your lowest points from your career?
The lowest point in my career, uh, I think one of my lowest levels is when anytime that you don't bring a fighter to the next level that he needs to be, that's the lowest level that you can get. When you don't move him properly like you need to move him, that makes a big, big difference. And you have to take the blame or take the you got to take his loss. That's where it's at. If you don't teach him properly, move to the next level for him, that I think you have to be at fault for that. And that's the way it has to be. And I'm sorry it has to be that way, but you got to pay the cost to be the boss. So that's the way it rolls.
How did you, Kenny, deal with that? Not seeing that progression in your fighter and potentially having to part ways for them to improve. How did you deal with that thing, knowing that you didn't make that impact to improve them to that next level?
Say that again, please. I'm sorry. I got the background and I come out here.
You mentioned the lowest point for you was to not progress a fighter to the next level. How did you deal with that as the coach?
Well, I sat down and talked to myself. I sat down and talked to myself. Say, hey, I got to do a better job of teaching them and moving things to the next level. And that's what you got to do. You can't blame nobody else. You got to take blame or take fault for things that happen on your watch. And that's what you got to do. Make it move to the next level. You have to take that and move it and to make it move. And without a doubt, that happens sometimes. You got to pay the cost to be the boss. And so there it is.
And just finally, round 8, the last topic, Kenny, the International Boxing Hall of Fame. You are an inductee this year in 2024. You mentioned pride earlier about the Olympic team. How proud are you for being entered into the Hall of Fame?
I am very proud to be into the Hall of Fame. Without a doubt, Nevada has one of the greatest positions that there is, and they're very, very good, and they all are good. And so, hey, without a doubt, they shown they the best, and they move it to the next level. And I'm very pleased and happy to be a member of the great Hall of Fame of Nevada.
How does it make you
Actually,
feel?
I'm in Missouri, and I'm very pleased about being in Missouri also. And it moves to the next level, California. All of these places that I got an opportunity to move into to be at the next level, I enjoy that. And I appreciate them more than ever. Thank you.
Is it nice to get that recognition from these guys? Is it nice to get the recognition from these guys to be inducted?
It is nice to get recognition, to be recognized. It definitely is it's a thing to be recognized. To know that you've done something that's made some people move to the next level. I think without a doubt, it has to be on number one on your spot.
Perfect. Well, Kenny, thank you very much.
But you know something even more so than that too is that I have a wife that's with me 1,000%, and she's helped me move to the next level, and I appreciate her very much. So she also made me be a better person all the way in life itself. So thank you, and thank all the fighters that have helped me make that move, and all the people in boxing that helped me move to the next level. Thank you very much.
Kenny, thank you. Thank you for your time, and congratulations again.
And thank you, sir. Thank you very much for interviewing and all of you. And because we have to look at a lot of different levels. We got people like True Nevins that runs the gym here. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have any place to fall into. So there we go again, moving to the next level, taking people and setting them on a pedestal, but they belong there because they help you move to the next level. So that's very important. So thank you, and thank you.
Thanks very much, Kenny.
Thank you, sir.